My girlfriend is gone for the week. Tonight, I started sautéing an onion for another meal. I loved the smell of the onion so much that I just ate sautéed onions. Edit. You all are some sick bastards. Keep up the good work. Story 1. Brown sugar and cinnamon sandwiches. My grandmother used to make them for me all the time before she passed. Every time I have a brown sugar and cinnamon sandwich, I'm reminded of her. I forgot to mention that you need to butter the bread or toast. Haha. Story 2. Cup of pizza. Pizza sauce, cheese, and whatever toppings I feel like tossing in. Microwave it in a large soup mug or bowl. Stir it up, add oyster crackers, and enjoy. I'm never home alone these days, unfortunately. Story 3. Grilled cheese with crushed Doritos inside it, melting into the cheese. Edit. I'm glad so many people are liking my grilled cheese. Definitely not ashamed to eat this around anyone now. Story 4. I don't personally have anything unusual that I eat, but I saw a friend's roommate eating paprika-flavored Pringles with blueberry yogurt. He was dipping them in. Story 5. I get a loaf of bread and cut out a good portion that will work as a lid later on. Dig out some of the bread to create some room, but not too much, as you want to be careful not to be left with only crust. In here, I'll add beef mince fried with taco seasoning, bacon fried in garlic, and also add some cheese and jalapenos. Put the lid back on, wrap it in bacon, and sprinkle it with a lot of cheese. Place the whole thing in the oven. While this is in the oven, I'll fry the bread that I removed earlier in all the goodness left in the pan from frying earlier. I'll make sure to add some extra butter and garlic. This is my side order that I'll dip in chipotle aioli. Story 6. The food isn't weird, just bagels and cream cheese, but I do love a horrific amount of cream cheese, like nearly a 1-to-1 ratio. I only do it maybe once or twice a year and never in front of another human being. Story 7. A big bowl of Frosted Flakes, cold chocolate chips from the freezer, and sliced banana. It's delicious. I've also consumed 10 eggs, for slices of turkey bacon, for protein pancakes, toast, a glass of milk with ice, and a small glass of orange juice with ice. I did that a handful of times, and the amount of dishes I used was way too many. Story 8. Spaghetti and popcorn. I know it doesn't go together and the textures don't match at all, but sometimes I just want them both at the same time. Edit. I may have given the impression I eat them together, like mixed together. I just eat spaghetti with a side of popcorn. It's still weird, I guess, but I couldn't imagine mixing them together. Story 9. I like to make my really good mac and cheese from scratch, but then dye the cheese blue or green or something because I think it's fun. But if anyone else saw me do that, they would probably think I'm nuts. Story 10. Once I ate 16 deviled eggs for dinner. That's 8 whole eggs. That was the whole meal. I went to sleep right after. On second thought, I think this is just sad. Story 11. A single pickle spear with ketchup and mustard drizzled on top, rolled up in a warm flour tortilla. After turning vegetarian, I missed one food more than anything. A double cheeseburger from Burger King. I spent days formulating and hypothesizing about how I could recreate those delicious flavors I loved without the meat. After several experiments, I discovered that it was the flavor of the pickle mixed with ketchup and mustard that I liked the most. Voila, I call it the Eddie sandwich. Story 12. A slice of cheddar cheese with coarse ground mustard spread thickly on it. It's amazing, but I get looks like I'm eating sliced toddler. Edit. Clearly, there are dozens of us. Where were you all when I was trying to explain why it's good to my wife? Story 13. Anything with kimchi, because of the smell. I love making a big bowl of kimchi fried rice topped with a runny egg for breakfast on days I have the house to myself. Then I open all the windows and let the house air out because my husband and daughter hate the smell of kimchi. Story 14. I spent 2 hours deep frying 24 wings I had left over from the game last night. I got a bag of baby carrots, a bottle of ranch dressing, and put all the wings in a bowl in front of the television, on a card table I put up especially because it is easier to clean. I only ate 9 wings. I predict I will not feel terribly comfortable tomorrow. Story 15. Smoked salmon and lemon juice. I'll buy a 600-gram bulk pack of smoked salmon slices, cut them into little pieces, and fill a bowl with lemon juice. Then, I'll eat the salmon like cereal with the lemon juice as milk. It's amazing, honestly. Story 16. Not exactly a dinner, but I like to add dried cayenne to orange juice. People act like I'm a monster for doing it, but it tastes so good. It's literally just orange juice that's spicy. It doesn't taste like peppers or anything. If people can add chili peppers to their chocolate, why can't I add cayenne to my orange juice? Edit. I just want to say how happy I am to have finally found a supportive community that won't judge me for liking spicy orange juice. I finally found my place in the world. Story 17. Trader Joe's white cheddar and Shell's mac and cheese with extra shredded cheddar in the pot. Whole box because mama didn't raise a quitter. Ground turkey cooked with sautéed red onion and taco seasoning or whatever chicken sausage I have on hand. Red, yellow, and green peppers or spinach, whichever is on hand. Once assembled, top with sour cream, shredded cheese, and hot sauce. Story 18. I roast some garlic in a pan with olive oil, salt, and pepper. I cook a pound of ground beef in that. I cook it and strain the grease. I usually just eat it like that, but if I am feeling extra, then I add it to some macaroni with butter. I know it's not that weird, but I've gotten criticized for eating just straight pounds of beef from people before, so it's a private meal now. Story 19. Prepackaged ramen noodles with 2 eggs microwaved and sardines. Lazy but amazing. If I am actually going to cook, 3-bean rice. Chickpeas, pinto beans, and black beans mixed with rice and flavored with whatever spices or sauces I have at the moment. If I have them in stock, I will toss green beans in there as well. Story 20. Chicken dish. In a crock pot, layer chicken breast at the bottom. Put on a layer of your favorite cheese. Swiss works amazingly. In a separate bowl, stir together 3 cans of cream of chicken soup with 2 boxes of stuffing. Add broth if needed to thoroughly mix. Place the stuffing mix onto the layer of cheese. Cook on low for 6 hours. Stir once and serve. Story 21. Sorry for the hail corporate, but the brands make it work for me. 1 can of Wolf brand chili, no beans. About 1/3 jar of ragu double cheddar sauce. It's just straight up mac and cheese sauce. Portion to taste. Sautéed diced onion, about 1/4 of a regular onion. Low sodium Fritos, smaller bag. Regular sodium ones end up too salty because of the sodium in the chili. Sour cream. Squirt bottle of Daisy makes this easier if you decide you want more after starting. Mix the chili and double cheddar in a bowl, heat up in the microwave. I heat on 50% power so it doesn't do the whole lava/room temp thing. I have no recollection of the proper amount of time, but if I had to guess, about 4.5 minutes at 50% power. Mix after heating. In a separate bowl, put the Fritos, then onion, then the chili/cheese sauce. Mix thoroughly with a fork. Top with sour cream. Eat the entire what I assume is 1,300 calories in one sitting. Make sure someone knows to check on you in a couple of hours. If you feel like mixing it up or don't like Fritos, tortilla chips work fine, and it's more of a nacho vibe. Jalapenos on top also kick things up a notch. I like the ones out of a can or jar that are pre-sliced. Story 22. I love to fry my rice when it's done boiling. I fry it in the oven with some olive oil and spices so it's crispy. Does anyone else do this? I feel too weird to make it in front of friends, etc. Story 23. Frozen chocolate chip cookies from Publix that I rinse down with orange juice instead of milk. Not dipping, just drinking. I think the orange really complements the chocolate. I also hard-boil eggs, cut them in half, and spread mayonnaise and sriracha on them, followed by salt, pepper, and cayenne pepper. Good workout food. If I'm feeling fancy, I'll cut little blocks of cheddar cheese to top them. I've also just made rice and Lipton brown gravy mix to pour on top. I love that, especially after I chill it in the fridge. My girl thinks I'm a savage for not microwaving things. I knew a guy who would make pancakes and completely coat them in black pepper and Tabasco sauce, with nothing else. He was Indian, so I guess the spice wasn't a big deal for him. I can't fathom why you would use anything other than butter and syrup. Story 24. Basically, anything I just don't feel like sharing. I cook the majority of the time, so I make a wide variety of things, but when I get a night on my own, I'll make something I'm craving to have it all to myself. A few examples. Double fudge brownies with a peanut butter glaze topping. Nachos Bel Grande with carne asada bits. Hot wings made with Hot Ones Last Dab Redux sauce. Banana walnut bread with cheesecake filling and a homemade strawberry butter spread. Foot-long muffuletta sandwich with a homemade olive tapenade. Barbecue baked mac and cheese with aged white cheddar and jalapenos. Just to name a few. Laugh out loud. Story 25. Velveeta shells and cheese. Better than Kraft because you don't have to mix the powder with milk and butter. Just squeeze out the chemical cheese-like product onto the noodles and eat. Story 26. Breakfast sausage patties dipped in creamed corn. May sound a little off, but I have loved it ever since I was a little kid. Also works well with fried canned meat. Story 27. Eggs plus Doritos plus salsa equals the most westernized chilaquiles you have ever had in your life, but they are incredibly delicious. Normal tortilla chips work just as well. Edit. I want to clarify that you literally crack eggs into a pan, crush the chips in there, and then add some salsa and mix it all together. It may seem like a disaster, but it will be the best disaster you will eat. Story 28. Baked potato with a couple handfuls of steamed broccoli and a lot of ranch, then smush it all together like mashed potatoes. Edit. Oops. Just noticed this is posted in the Ask Men subreddit. This pregnant lady will see herself out. Story 29. I eat garlic cloves raw. So friggin' delicious. Sometimes I will make a garlic tea if I am not terribly hungry but need to eat. Mince about 8 to 10 cloves of raw garlic, sometimes with red onion added in. Let it steep for 5 minutes. Enjoy. Story 30. I don't cook but order 2 doner kebabs, a quarter-pound cheeseburger, and fries, all covered in salad and chili sauce. I eat it all, feel terrible, and promise myself I will never do it again. 1 week later, justeat.com. Hello, is that you? Just shug, let's talk. Story 31. Something I discovered recently. Take a cookie sheet and slice a few strips of cheese off the block. Lay them directly on the cookie sheet. Put them in the oven under high broil until they start to bubble throughout. Remove from the oven, let them stand for a minute, then peel them directly off the sheet and into your mouth. If done right, the edges are crispy and the inside is chewy. So good. Story 32. A decadent southwestern-style fried rice. Rice, black beans, corn, ground chipotle chili powder, cumin, pour in some egg and scramble it. Mix it all up and add cheese. Story 33. Buffalo chicken Alfredo. Chop chicken tenders into bite-sized chunks. Coat them in flour and egg, then pan or deep fry. Take a stick of butter and a bottle of Crystal hot sauce, and cook them in a saucepan together until the solids separate. Prepare linguine pasta as directed on the box. Heat up or prepare an Alfredo sauce. When the noodles are done, mix them in. Plate a bed of the noodles, several chunks of the chicken dipped in the buffalo sauce, then drizzle with the solids from the sauce. Actually, what I will really do if no one is looking is eat the crusty stuff that forms on the side of the buffalo saucepan. Story 34. When I was a child and nobody was looking, I would take as many saltines as I could and put butter between them, stacking them as high as possible. If you squeeze them, little butter worms come through the saltine holes. Story 35. Take Kool-Aid mix, the kind with the sugar in it that comes in a plastic container. Take a scoop into a glass. Plastic may stain. Add the tiniest bit of water, just enough to make it a lumpy, gritty, sticky syrup. Lick it off a spoon. Don't let your mom catch you. Any red flavor is the best. Story 36. I ate a pizza that fell directly on the floor, sauce and cheese side down, the other day. I just scooped it all up and ate it without any concern. I then vomited the next day when I realized what I had done. My floor was not clean by any stretch of the imagination. Story 37. Have you been to Reddit's Onion Lovers community? It's a safe place for those of us who are down to just eat sautéed onions for dinner or onion rings every meal of the day. Story 38. I call it meat cereal. Take however much ground beef, or deer/any other animal you like, that you want to eat and cook it with whatever seasonings or spices you like. Then just pour it into a bowl and eat it like cereal. Story 39. I love eating pickles with a boiled egg with mustard on them, obviously when my husband isn't at home. Sometimes I turn the boiled egg into egg salad with mayonnaise and mustard and eat it with a pickle. Pickles and eggs are my favorite foods. I love them. Story 40. Okay, time to whip out my apron. First, collect 1 to 2 eggs and scramble them lightly. Then, sprint to the local grocer's and pick up 2 chicken and mushroom pot noodles. Using a cheese grater, shred 2 potatoes. Lightly dust the potato shavings in flour to remove some moisture. Crumble the still dry noodles into the shredded potato and add the seasoning provided. Form dry noodle and potato patties and dip in egg wash. Place in a frying pan and wait, turning once until golden brown on both sides. Enjoy your strange hash browns that you would never make in front of anyone. Story 41. I love sautéed onions. Half moons until they're crispy and a bit of salt. Whenever I make something with half onions, I have to make extra because I know I'll eat half of them anyway. Plus an old cure for a cough is to use the cooled but still hot oil and rub it on the chest to loosen the phlegm. Story 42. Okay, this probably sounds gross to everyone, but I love it. Take chicken ramen noodle, bring it to a boil. Put in 2 eggs and only boil them until the white is cooked so they are super yolky. Drain the water and put the noodles in a bowl. Cover the noodles with cheddar cheese and put a plate over it so the cheese melts. This meal is so yummy to me, but I have always felt like people would think I'm a freak for making it this way. Story 43. I like to crush a lot of salt and vinegar chips into a bowl, mix in a can or 2 of drained tuna, and then eat it with a spoon. This is my favorite secret snack and also one of my many shames. Story 44. I take one of those cookie dough sheets full of squares, put them all on a plate, and microwave them. Let it cool, and I have one giant cookie that's more like a brownie consistency.